All right, so we're diving into this whole purple peel exploit thing today. It's definitely got a catchy name, I'll give it that. Kind of sounds like something out of a spy movie, doesn't it? But, we got to separate the hype from the actual facts here, and that's exactly what we're going to do. You've sent over some research, some recipes, the whole shebang. So let's peel back the layers on this one and see what we find. From what I'm looking at so far, it's not like a strict diet plan or anything. It's more like a guideline to eat more of those purple reddish kind of fruits and veggies. There's even like this 67-second variation floating around, which, I mean, come on, that sounds almost too easy, right? Like, who wouldn't want a quick fix like that? But before we get ahead of ourselves, I want to bring you in here, get your take on the science behind all this. Is there any way science behind it?
Well, the interesting thing about this exploit, if we want to call it that, is that it does kind of tap into some basic nutrition principles.
Right.
Even if it's not, a formal diet in the way we usually think of them. Like, take those bright purple pigments we see in a lot of these foods. That often means they're packed with antioxidants. And those are, well, you know how crucial those are for our health.
Yeah, antioxidants, they're like the little warriors in our cells, right? Fighting off all that damage from, what are they called, free radicals?
Exactly. And here's where it gets even more interesting. You see, we've got quercetin, a really potent antioxidant. And one of your sources highlighted how red onions, they're a fantastic source of quercetin. But not just any quercetin, it's in a form that's super easy for our bodies to absorb. Like, even more so than some supplements out there.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying, like, chomping on a red onion could be better than popping a pill? That's kind of wild, isn't it?
It really is. It's one of those cases where, food really is the best medicine. And it's not just about the antioxidants either. This whole purple peel thing also puts a big emphasis on fiber, which honestly gets overlooked way too often, but it's so important.
Yeah, I'll admit, fiber doesn't always sound the most exciting. But, I mean, we all know it's key for digestion, keeps things moving along right. But how does it fit into this whole exploit deal?
Okay, so picture this. You've got a big salad loaded with red cabbage. Now, red cabbage, that's a fiber superstar right there. And that fiber, it's going to make you feel full, satisfied for way longer compared to, say, a white bread sandwich, which is pretty low in fiber.
Okay, yeah, I can totally see the difference there. A big salad definitely keeps me feeling full way longer than a couple slices of bread.
Exactly. And that feeling of fullness, we call it satiety. That's a huge EE part of this. It helps you avoid overeating, which naturally can help with weight management.
So it's not really about, like, magically burning fat then, like some of those headlines we see out there claim. It's more about supporting your body's natural processes in a sustainable way.
You got it. And while it's not like this exploit is directly torching fat, those headlines aren't completely wrong either. Remember those antioxidants we talked about? Well, they can actually give your metabolism a little boost. In fact, one study in your research even showed that folks who ate a diet high in anthocyanins, their metabolic rate went up significantly compared to those on a low anthocyanin diet.
Interesting. So there's definitely more to this than meets the eye, that's for sure. It's not just some fad, there's actual science backing it up. But like with anything, there's always got to be a flip side, right? What about the potential downsides? Anything we need to be cautious about?
Oh, absolutely. We got to cover that too. Even with all the potential benefits, it's important to be aware of the other side of the coin. And one thing that popped up in the research was the possibility of digestive issues, especially for people who aren't used to eating a lot of fiber.
Yeah, that makes sense. We don't want people going overboard and ending up with tummy troubles. So what's a safe way to, like, up your fiber intake without things getting too uncomfortable?
Think of it like training for a marathon. You wouldn't just jump off the couch and try to run 26 miles, right? You got to gradually increase your mileage over time, let your body adjust. Same thing with fiber. Start slow, maybe add a couple servings of those purple fruits and veggies each day, and then, slowly increase it from there. And most importantly, listen to your body. If things start feeling off, back off a bit.
So moderation and listening to your gut, literally, makes sense. But what about allergies? Anything specific to these purple foods we should be aware of?
That's a great point, and definitely something to keep in mind. Just like with any dietary change, got to be mindful of those individual allergies. And with the purple stuff, some common culprits are berries, certain grapes, even red onions. So anyone with allergies, always double check those ingredients. Better safe than sorry.
Absolutely. And I also remember the research mentioning potential drug interactions too.
Oh, right, that's another important one. Certain compounds in these purple foods, especially grapes, can mess with some medications, like grapefruit's notorious for that, right?
Mhm.
Interacting with all sorts of drugs. And some purple grapes, they have similar compounds. So, bottom line, if you're on any meds, it's always smart to chat with your doc or pharmacist, especially before you start loading up on the purple stuff.
Yeah, good reminder. Even with natural foods, there can be interactions. Always best to err on the side of caution. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from the science behind those vibrant colors to the potential benefits and, of course, the downsides too. What do you think? Do our listeners have a good grasp of this whole purple peel exploit now?
I think so, yeah. We've gone over the scientific basis, talked about the potential benefits, not just for weight loss, but for overall health. And we've also touched on those practical considerations like digestion, allergies, drug interactions. So yeah, I think we've given a pretty solid overview.
Awesome. But before we wrap things up here, I'd love to get your overall thoughts on this concept. What stands out to you as the most important takeaway?
You know, what really strikes me about this whole thing is the focus on the power of simple whole foods. It's not about some crazy restrictive diet or spending a fortune on supplements. It's about making conscious choices, nourishing our bodies with what nature's already given us.
I couldn't agree more. It's about that holistic approach to health, right?
Absolutely. And while, yeah, the weight loss angle is definitely appealing to a lot of folks, I think it's important to see this as more than just a weight loss strategy. It's an opportunity, really, to explore all the potential these colorful foods have to improve our health, our energy, our overall vitality.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And, you know, something else I find really interesting is how this purple peel exploit, even though it sounds kind of trendy and new, it actually aligns with a lot of ancient wisdom traditions, like Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine. They've been saying this for centuries. Eat a rainbow of colors, they say, to balance your body, to promote well-being.
So it's like modern science is catching up with what these cultures have known all along.
Exactly. And speaking of modern science, there's some really exciting research happening right now that's particularly relevant to our conversation. Like, scientists are digging deeper into the potential of purple foods to benefit heart health.
Oh, wow. Heart health is huge EE. I'm definitely curious to hear more about that.
Well, certain compounds found in these purple foods, things like anthocyanins and resveratrol, they've been shown to have some pretty powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. And research suggests that these effects could play a key role in protecting against heart disease.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, heart disease is often linked to chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, all that stuff. So if we're eating more of these purple foods, it's like we're giving our hearts an extra shield, right?
Exactly. And there's another fascinating area of research that's looking at how these foods can support healthy aging. You know, as we get older, our cells become more vulnerable to damage from free radicals, environmental stressors, all that. But the antioxidants in purple produce, they can help fight back against that damage and promote cellular health, which is key to aging gracefully.
So it's not just about living longer, it's about living better as we age.
Precisely. It's about embracing a lifestyle that supports our health and longevity.
Well, I gotta say, I'm feeling pretty inspired after this deep dive. It's amazing how something as simple as eating more purple foods can have such a big impact on our well-being.
I completely agree. It really speaks to the power of nature and the wisdom that's encoded in the foods we eat.
And that, I think, is the beauty of what we do here on the deep dive. We uncover these hidden gems of knowledge, and it empowers us to make better choices, to live our best lives. So to our listeners out there, I encourage you to embrace this whole purple peel exploit. Not as some restrictive diet, but as a chance to explore this incredible world of colorful, nutritious foods. Experiment with new recipes, discover new flavors, and most importantly, have fun with it. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world around us. So we're seeing that this purple peel exploit, it's not just about a quick fix or something. There's some real science behind it, and it seems like there's even more to it than just weight management, right? What else did you find in your research?
Well, it's fascinating how this whole concept kind of touches on other areas of health too. Things that people are really interested in these days. Like, remember we talked about cognitive benefits earlier. Well, there's some pretty compelling research suggesting that certain compounds in these colorful foods, they could actually support brain health.
Oh, so you're saying eating more purple foods could actually help keep our minds sharp. Tell me more. Tell me more.
All right, so one study you sent over, it looked at older adults, and the ones who regularly ate blueberries, they performed way better on memory tests compared to those who didn't eat as many blueberries. And these benefits, they're likely thanks to those powerful anthocyanins we keep talking about. they seem to have a protective effect on brain cells, and maybe even slow down that age-related cognitive decline.
Wow, that's incredible. I think a lot of people, especially as they get older, they're looking for ways to, keep their minds sharp. So this is really valuable information. But when we talk about brain-boosting purple foods, we can't forget about berries in general, right?
Absolutely. Berries are like the poster children for this whole purple peel thing. Not only are they packed with those anthocyanins, but they've also got fiber, vitamins, minerals, all while being relatively low in calories. It's a win-win, really.
Yeah, I'm starting to see why this purple peel exploit has gotten so much attention. It's not just another fad diet. It's about enjoying delicious, nutritious foods.
That's the whole point. It's about making those healthy choices part of your everyday life. But we should also talk about the potential downsides too, even though the overall concept is, pretty promising. The research did mention that some people might experience digestive issues, especially those who aren't used to a high-fiber diet.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. We don't want people overdoing it and ending up, uncomfortable. So what's a safe way to increase your fiber intake without any tummy troubles?
Well, think of it like this. Imagine you're training for a marathon. You wouldn't go from sitting on the couch to running 26 miles overnight, right? You'd gradually increase your mileage week by week, let your body adapt. Same thing with fiber. You got to ease into it. Start with a few servings of purple produce a day, then slowly increase it. And this is key. Pay attention to how your body feels.
So moderation and listening to your body's cues, basically.
That's it. Now, another thing to consider is allergies.
Oh, right. Allergies, of course.
Yeah, just like with any dietary change, got to be mindful of individual allergies. And with purple foods, some common ones to watch out for are berries, certain grapes, even red onions. So if you know you've got allergies, always double check the ingredients.
Yeah, always a good idea. And I think the research also mentioned potential drug interactions too. That sounds a little more serious.
Yeah, that's definitely something to be aware of. Certain compounds in purple foods, especially grapes, they can interfere with how some medications work. Like grapefruit is kind of famous for that, right? Interacting with all sorts of drugs. And some purple grapes, they contain similar compounds. So the bottom line is, if you're taking any medications, it's always wise to talk to your doctor or pharmacist before you drastically increase your intake of purple produce.
It's a good reminder that even with natural foods, there can be interactions. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from the science behind those vibrant colors to the potential benefits and, of course, the downsides too. Do you think our listeners have a pretty good grasp of this whole purple peel exploit now?
I'd say so, yeah. We've delved into the scientific basis, explored those potential benefits, and not just for weight loss, but for overall health, like we talked about. And we've also covered those practical considerations: digestion, allergies, drug interactions. So yeah, I think we've given them a pretty solid overview.
Great. But before we wrap things up, I'd love to hear your final thoughts on this concept. What stands out to you as the biggest takeaway?
What really strikes me about this whole thing is how it emphasizes the power of simple whole foods. It's not about some crazy restrictive diet or spending a fortune on supplements. It's about making conscious choices, nourishing our bodies with what nature's already provided.
Couldn't agree more. It's about that holistic approach to health, right?
Absolutely. And while the weight loss aspect is definitely appealing to a lot of people, I think it's important to view this as more than just a weight loss strategy. It's a chance to really explore all the potential these colorful foods have.
Yeah.
To boost our health, our energy, our overall vitality.
Yeah, and the source material we looked at, it really emphasized that weight loss angle, which, it makes sense. That's a big draw for a lot of folks.
Oh, for sure. It's a valid consideration. However,
what if we kind of shifted our focus a bit, looked beyond just the weight loss aspect?
I like that, yeah. What if, instead of just thinking about shedding pounds, we explored how these foods could, boost our mood, our energy levels, maybe even spark our creativity?
Oh, I love that idea. It's like we're going beyond just the physical benefits, right?
What?
Tapping into a whole other level of well-being.
Exactly. And it's not a new idea either. A lot of traditional medicine systems, like Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, they've recognized the power of color in our diet for centuries. They believe that different colors represent different energies, different properties. So eating a rainbow of colors helps balance the body, promotes overall well-being.
So in a way, this purple peel thing with its emphasis on all those colorful fruits and veggies, it's kind of like aligning with these ancient wisdom traditions, isn't
I
it?
think so, yeah. It's like modern science is finally catching up with what these cultures have known all along.
And speaking of modern science, you mentioned some exciting new research areas.
Oh, yeah, there's some really interesting stuff coming out. For example, scientists are really digging into the potential of purple foods to support heart health.
Oh, heart health, that's a big one. What's the research showing so far?
Well, certain compounds in these foods, like anthocyanins and resveratrol, they've been shown to have some pretty powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. And these effects, research suggests, could be key to protecting against cardiovascular disease.
Right, that makes sense. Because, heart disease is often linked to inflammation, oxidative stress, all that. So by eating more purple foods, it's like we're giving our hearts an extra layer of defense.
Exactly. And another area of research that's really fascinating is how these foods can support healthy aging. As we get older, our cells become more vulnerable to damage from free radicals, environmental stressors, all that. But the antioxidants in those purple fruits and veggies, they can help counteract that damage and promote cellular health, which is essential for aging gracefully.
So it's not just about living longer, it's about living better as we age.
Exactly. It's about embracing a lifestyle that supports our health and longevity.
Well, I gotta say, I'm feeling pretty inspired after this deep dive. It's amazing how something as simple as eating more purple foods can have such a profound impact on our well-being.
I agree. It really is. It just goes to show the power of nature,
Yeah.
and the incredible wisdom that's like encoded in the foods we eat.
And I think that's the beauty of what we do here on the deep dive. We uncover these hidden gems of knowledge, and it empowers us to make informed choices to live our best lives. So to our listeners out there, I encourage you to, embrace this purple peel exploit, not as a restrictive diet, but as an opportunity to explore this amazing world of colorful, nutrient-rich foods, experiment with new recipes, discover new flavors, and most importantly, have fun with it. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world around us.